Hello and welcome to Healthy Tales with Sahiba, brought to you by Zoconut, a leading business management software for health and nutrition businesses. Healthy Tales with Sahiba is a first of its kind talk show featuring leaders from the health, nutrition and fitness industry. Come join me as I welcome my guest today. Today on my show are two phenomenal guests with extraordinary stories. Please welcome Mr. Ryan Fernando, the founder of Qua Nutrition, and Ms. Tania, the CEO of Qua Nutrition. Thank you so much for coming on my show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you for having us.
Ryan, let's start and dive straight into this. You are the founder of Qua Nutrition. What inspired you to start Qua?
So I've always been a nerdy guy working in the lab, studied at Goa Medical College, looked at the field across in the lab, and you just see that, hey, there's so much fun out there. So I did work with many supplement companies in the first part of my life. And every time I worked with any of these supplement companies, I had a team of nutritionists or dietitians with me. So I would go and sell a protein powder, a green tea extract, a multivitamin, and people always said, "Bhai, bolo dal chawal roti kaisa lene ka?" Every time we went from North India to South India to wherever we went, people were like, "Haan, theek hai, ye lega, but tell me how to get my bread, butter, roti in order." So when we started trying to sell nutritional products, we found out that people were more interested in getting their nutrition diet in check.
From food.
And I had teams of what we call as nutrition coaches, nutritionists, dietitians with me. So suddenly I had more nutritionists than salespeople with me.
Mm-hmm.
And over the years, I kept pitching to my then promoters and founders that, hey, let's get into nutrition clinics. And to make a very long story short, one fine day I was not getting the right support. I said, let me do it myself. And that's how I decided to start a chain of nutrition clinics. Never started with a chain, started with one room, and I named it Qua Nutrition. Now I'm a Scrabble player. And if you've ever played Scrabble, Sahiba, if you have a Q, you got to get rid of fast, and you need a U with that. So the fastest letter that you could make is Qua. Now, Qua in Latin actually means incapacity. So when I was in college and I played Qua, all my friends says, there's no such English word. I'm like, no, it's there in the Scrabble dictionary. It's called incapacity of. And Qua Nutrition is discovering the capacity of people on a customized level. So one size does not fit all. So hence, I decided to start Qua Nutrition, one room, two dietitians. That was about 10 years ago. The rest is history today.
Great, that's wonderful. And coming to you, Tania, you're the current CEO of Qua Nutrition, but I know that you did not start with this dream. Please tell us, how did your journey at Qua begin?
Yes, Sahiba, I was on a break. I was on a temporary break after having my second child. And prior to that, I had worked a majority of my career in the telecom circle. So there was always like long hours and erratic working schedules and, the poor eating habits that comes along with it. And then after both my C-sections and then, getting gestational diabetes during both my pregnancies, I realized that, I was not in a good space as such with regards to my health. So I reached out to Qua Nutrition for a personal goal. And then when I met Ryan, one thing led into another, and then I got the job at Qua Nutrition and I started there. So he as a founder has given us a lot of freedom with responsibility. It's a collection of everybody's mind and experience. So when we come together, we initiate something new. So sometimes it works, we continue with it. And if it doesn't work, we don't get bogged down by it. We just move over and continue. The pandemic was a game changer in terms of how we were all like pan-India, able to come together, work from home, still continue to survive, sustain, and actually grow. We kind of went overseas also. We opened up in Dubai, in Singapore. And the best part about the pandemic was, as a CEO, when I was made the CEO during the pandemic, was to be able to recruit women who are looking at a second career, like, restarting their career, because I wasn't able to do that prior to the pandemic. We always had this mindset that training had to be classroom. So when we moved online and I was able to empower all these women who have taken a long break, like how I got a restart of my career here. So similarly, I was able to give these opportunities to many women who have kids in college,
Right.
in school.
That's fantastic. I
yeah.
mean, most of the time, women, they don't know how to restart, right?
Absolutely.
They don't have those kind of avenues.
Correct. So this gave us the opportunity to expand. So now we are like a very mixed group, mixed age, and it's fun. I mean, we learn from each other. We have the older generation learning from the younger generation on technology, and the younger generation learning wisdom from the older generation. So it's fun.
Everyone has something to offer.
Absolutely. So it's a lot of give and take.
Okay. So Ryan, what is the vision behind Qua and what is your USP?
So when I started Qua Nutrition, one small room, 2 dietitians, I was like, everyone has fads about nutrition. My mother's a nutritionist at the end of the day. She thinks she knows everything about nutrition. And I think that's the problem with the world today. Nutrition is such an easy subject science that everyone calls them a self-professed expert. So the vision was, I'm going to go out and find highly qualified, studied individuals, not certified individuals, to join my team. To go bio-individual. No one size fits all. Qua in Latin means incapacity of. So the idea is to do blood testing, genetic testing, microbiome testing. So when I started in 2010, people had not heard of gene testing in this part of the world.
Right.
People had not heard of biochemistry testing on omega-3, your neurotransmitter testing. And everyone did 2 idli, 2 dosa, 2 paratha kind of nutrition plans. So I actually at one point of time went as a client or patient to various nutritionists across the country to just understand what was the level of service being delivered, how good was it, and what was the whole construct. And then I sat down and I said, okay, I'm going to become a nutrition architect. I'm going to write the blueprint on how, if anyone walks in, what is the methodology and process, but no one size fits all. Most practices will give you a standard chart. Most technology that is being used today claims to have artificial intelligence, but I believe that human behavior around food is very emotional. So you have the emotional part, which is the food behavior part, and then you have the science part. So what Qua is doing is, with nutritional counselors, you work using technology and then you layer it with the relationship you build with your counselor. So an app will tell you for 14 days what to do, but you don't fall in love with an app. And I know genuinely in Qua Nutrition, many of our consumers actually love our dietitians. Mm-hmm. They come back. And the vision of Qua is very simple. When was the last time you were held accountable for your food? Mm-hmm. Food is thought as, I work very hard. I want the pleasure of food. Don't tell me to control it. Whereas what we do at Qua is work at the science level, work at the emotional level, and then change the way India eats.
So Tania, while you were scaling up Qua, what were the challenges that you faced as the CEO?
Okay, so there's only just probably in a summarized version, I would say there's just one challenge, and primarily not in our control, is the support the women get in their careers, especially post-marriage. We find that many of them, very talented, wonderful, hardworking women, just go down completely post-marriage. So they don't get the required support
from the
family's end to pursue their career and their journey. So they work, but it just completely comes down and eventually they give up for personal reasons. So that has been very, very challenging because you get good talent pool of people. You nurture them, you grow them, you train them. They do well. They really do well. But suddenly it just goes off, and it's not their fault also sometimes. So that is a challenge, never-ending challenge. What I see in our company is when we get the talent pool, we're not able to hold on to them completely. We also have people who continue to work with us, who really grow and do well and, earn really well. But this is one area, gray area, that I have seen in the last 9 years at Qua.
So it's very interesting that you bring this up, but the workforce at Qua is largely made up of women, right? I believe there are only 4 men working at Qua, which is very interesting. So being a woman, what advice would you give to other working women? How do we balance work-life balance? How do we reach that?
So, I mean, when it comes to work-life balance, I don't look at it differently for men, women. Because this is my personal opinion that in terms of like my work-life balance is sorted. I think the only time when we all together felt our work-life balance going topsy-turvy was during the lockdown. When the lockdown was announced, and
Right.
when we didn't have our help, and we had our children at home and everybody at home. I think that was the only time that I kind of felt the challenge of, okay, how am I going to manage both? So that's how women need to look and perceive their careers. They should never have that preconceived notion that now that I've got into a job and the focus on how do I manage. They should be able to do well in both spaces. I mean, you can't ignore your family over your work and vice versa. I
Right.
think, and also we are primarily women workforce because primarily women take up nutrition as a course.
Yes.
So
Very true.
we are open to anybody who is talented. In fact, I recently hired a guy also. So we are open to taking anybody who's talented and like-minded, like who have the same mindset
Right.
of giving that qualitative service to a client. So we are open to hiring anyone. But more women study nutrition, so we take women.
Right.
So my only advice is don't look at work like a burden, and don't look at it. It's an empowering situation for every woman to be able to earn, grow, learn. So they should
Absolutely.
just look at it openly and find a balance. Like get your support system in place. You're sorted.
I think get rid of the guilt, the personal guilt.
Absolutely, that should never be there. I mean,
Right.
why should it even exist?
Right.
It should never be there. It's a normal. He is working, you're working, I'm working. It's fine. We're all fair. That's it.
And for me as a founder, I grew up in a family where my mother worked, and she would come home at 8 o'clock in the evening, and I never felt less loved. And I saw the power that my mother had,
Right.
financial, who she was as a woman, who she is as a woman. It's a very powerful lady. And even when I married my wife, I was like, cooking and cleaning, I personally feel is not the reason women are put on this planet for.
Right.
You can hire a chef to cook.
Of course.
You can buy a robotic vacuum cleaner and a dishwasher. So I think we are misplaced in 2020 on how women should work. And I believe that if they are sitting in a college and you've got the opportunity by your parents to be educated, you're flushing down that education, you're taking away somebody else's opportunity. So when life comes at you with your different life cycles, say marriage or children, why does the woman have to throw up her arms and give up her job? In my profession, nutrition, majority women. So we have got to be, as an organization, accepting of women, empowering women, but the give and take should be that society also needs to understand these are not mere coaches, these are healers.
Right.
I consider my team as high priestess. You go to the temple. What is the temple? The body. You need a priestess to guide you along the way. So I look at them from this perspective. So when they give up, I have many times I have conversations with her where I feel gutted. Why did that person leave us? What opportunity do we have? And I keep telling her, your job, I need to see a grandmother dietitian on our team 25 years later. We need to have that because they're healers.
Right. Tania, how much importance do you give to company culture?
The company culture is the foundation at Qua. So why is it the foundation at Qua? Because we have certain standard policies when we handle our clients. So if a client is probably getting serviced in Dubai or in Hyderabad or in Mumbai, the standard of servicing, it's the same. You'll never find a difference between an NRI client and a client here. So it's the same. So that's something that we're very clear on as a policy.
Okay.
So the whole company follows that vibe. And we also have a structure and policy wherein dietitians grow in the system. So we have multiple units, like we have our cardiac, we have our onco unit, sports, lifestyle, and many more.
Okay.
So we have a structured way in terms of which our dietitians also see growth. So all this is part of the policy. And they start at an entry level, then they become a senior nutritionist, then they can go on to become a chief nutritionist.
Right.
So, these are certain things that we have designed and formulated as a part of our culture. And we all follow it like to the T. It's like the Bible for all of us. We follow it to the T. So it really is important, and that keeps us, even though we come with certain imperfection, we all become evened out and perfect when we follow the company culture. So it's
Right.
important.
Great. And Ryan, so now Qua has made a name in the market. What next?
We not only attract the best talent in the world in terms of our nutrition coaches and dietitians, but also the best clients in the world. Everybody from Amir Khan, Abhishek Bachchan, Fardeen Khan's recent transformation. I worked on Anushka Sharma's pregnancy nutrition plan. So we were like,
Wow.
we knew stuff of the client before anybody else in the world knows, because of the trust factor, the high supremacy factor of bio-individuality. So people know we are about science and we're not just fluff. Now, the job's not yet done because the process, protocol, and people are being put into place. Tania's taken over as CEO. She's the heart of the company. She understands the culture of the company. But as a founder, for me, India needs to change the way it eats. The world needs to change the way it eats. We are eating too much on the planet. Our carbon footprint is we're eating too much. You can be more environmentally friendly by just eating lesser. So my vision is to collaborate with food startups, nutrition startups, health startups, be the voice in these and have not only organic growth in Qua, but go out there and capture people. For example, I started institutenutrition.com. I feel we don't have enough of nutritionists and dietitians across the world. In India alone, we need 1 million dietitians.
Right.
So how do you train them? And when I'm training them, I'm realizing that a lot of the women coming into the workforce from academia are not suitably trained to become counselors. They're too young.
Yeah.
They don't have experience. So we are both training people in the subject matter, but we're also training people who already have experience. So we put all of this together. And for me personally, now I'm looking at businesses that I can go on and influence as a nutrition thought leader. So I'm now investing in a very elite brand that's targeting the carbohydrate eating space. India's eating too much of carbohydrates. So how do we get nutritional food delivered to people at lower carbs? Prevent diabetes from aggressively hitting 200 million Indians. And on the other hand, convenience of nutrition in terms of vending machine. So vending machines, for me, I see the future 20 years from now, wherein you go to an office, you don't have healthy beverage choices.
Right.
So yeah, green tea, okay, great. But I would like you to press a button and get an acai berry with, maybe astaxanthin in it. So this is the future, because we're just going to be desk jockeys.
Right.
So we can't get everybody to come in for diet counseling, but we also want to target people who don't want to come for counseling by pressing a button. So for me, it's not going to stop. It's just going to change the way people are eating, educate them, get it by individual, and attract wonderful talent to our companies and say that, hey, this is a great mission to be on. It's not a job, it's a calling. Come join us, and it's like, hey, I'm changing somebody's life.
As Ryan said, the world is eating too much and we have to teach the world to eat less, so we have a lesser carbon footprint. So let's not eat too much, let's drink a little. Let's jump into our fun segment, Sip Happens, and have some fun. So welcome to our fun segment, Sip Happens, where you're going to fight for this beautiful hamper from Krishi Crest. These are products made with naturally grown organic produce, and we have these cold pressed healthy shots by Ojo Lifestyle. So I'm going to throw a question at the two of you, and whoever answers first is safe. The other one has to take a shot, right? So you have to be quick, you have to be fast. Which is the last book that you read?
Ankur Wariku's
Do epic shit.
Do Epic Shit, yeah.
Okay. Please take a shot, Ryan.
I completed a book.
She answered first. Name 2 things you would find in Olympian Neeraj Chopra's room.
Javelin, protein powder.
Okay, I thought you would say the medal. If you had to be a Disney character, which one would you be?
Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
Jack Sparrow.
Mickey Mouse.
I went second, right?
What is the first thing you would do if you woke up one day as Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
He's doing a good job, but I'd allow the taxpayers of the country to get a little bit more respect.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go for it.
Okay, so now next set of questions, I'm going to name a few people, right? And you don't have to take a shot for every name that I take. But which actor do you think would be fit to play the following people in their biopics? Virat Kohli,
Vicky Kaushal,
Yuvraj Singh,
Ranveer Singh,
Sania Mirza.
Deepika Padukone,
Okay, great. And Shikhar Dhawan.
Ranveer Singh.
A younger version of Manoj Bajpayee.
Okay, great. But she answered most of them, so please take a shot. Okay, great. You both did wonderfully, but you finished most of the shots, so clearly she's a winner. Congratulations, Tania. You're the proud winner of this beautiful hamper.
Thank you.
A lot of healthy cooking in your kitchen. So don't worry, Ryan, we're not going to let you go empty-handed. We have these beautiful organic gifts from Native Organica. They're our gift partner. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Salma. This is so nice.
We also have these very sweet mementos by our title sponsor and your app developer, Zoconut. I'm going to read this out for both of you. We applaud your spirit of entrepreneurship and wish you all the best for all future endeavors. Thank you once again.
Thank you so
all the
much.
very best to
Thank
Qua
you.
and to both of you.
Thank you so much.
I hate to end this inspiring conversation with Ryan and Tania, but this is all the time that we have today. Please join me next week, same place, same time, with a new set of guests. Till then, take care and be fit.
There's something called, this depression that happens
Postpartum.
postpartum,
Yeah.
and we were all going through it,
Yeah.
but no, awareness.
And then the older generation. Sorry. Sorry. We'll talk later.
Yeah, sorry.